Apologies guys, welcome to the V8 Supercar official online series presented by V8 Supercars, V8 Supercar fan group. This is going really well tonight. G'day Corey.
Yeah, g'day Jazz. I think we might be having a few dramas still. Not sure if you've got me.
I've got you perfectly.
There we go. Oh, I'll tell you what, hasn't it been a fun night? 3 or 4 different team speaks and they're all doing the same thing. It's apologies to anyone out there watching, but it's good to be back. And hopefully you guys saw Richard Hampstead's lap earlier because it was a good insight to Sonoma. We're racing tonight, and tell you what, Jay, it's nice and close in the qualifying times at the moment.
Yeah, it is very, very close in qualifying. So not much separating the top guys. We've got the top 9 separated by less than a second. And the top 7 separated by less than half a second. So it's very, very close up the front. Currently sitting on pole, Justin Ruggiero, 1 minute 33.036. Madison down next, 1:33.213. Then it's John Emerson, Richard Hampstead, Val Riches, Mitch McLeod, Josh Muggleton, Sean Kelly, Lee Day, and Matthew Hill, the top 10.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Other than Justin, who's got about a 2/10 margin. It's pretty close here at the moment. If you look at the likes of Matthew Hill in P10, there's only about a 10th separating him and falling back to about 17, 18th. So it's good to see. Talk about tight. I'll tell you what, next week going to Lime Rock, it's gonna be interesting as well. But of course, we've got 20 laps here at Sonoma tonight to tackle first, and it's all about that important championship at the moment because it's getting really tight at the top as the drop week's starting to come into play.
Yeah, top 3 drivers currently separated by 9 or 8 points. So we've got a real 3-way tussle for the championship season. It's really going to come down to the last lap of the last race this season to see who will win this championship. Now, of course, Josh Muggleton, unfortunately, I don't think he'll be racing again tonight. He actually raced off a prepaid 3G internet stick last night, I believe. So he tried that out, but I don't think it worked too good in his favour. So he may not be running tonight, but we'll find out shortly. Still having issues with his internet being put on, but he is in qualifying, so fingers crossed we'll see him out on track.
Yeah, when I saw that race last night, it was a little bit sketchy on how that internet was holding up, so it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully he can get back out there because I know a lot of guys have been missing him, but and he's one of the key players in that championship at the moment, so that he needs the points. Wait, now it's like the final qualifying session. Getting nice.
We're just waiting for the pictures to start coming through from this final qualifying. It won't be far away before we start to see some pictures coming through. The final 20-minute qualifying session. Of course, we're talking about the 3-way tussle for the championship. It is going to be between Justin, Madison, and Muggo. Although Vale still has a chance if he can pick up a couple of wins. If he could pick up a win this week and a really good finish next week, he'll be right up there with the chance of this championship as well.
Yeah, now's the perfect time for Vale to strike and get that maiden win. So, and anything's possible next week too. I think we're going to Lime Rock for the first time in about 2 years odd. And I did a couple laps last night with you actually, Jays. It's going to be. I think it's going to provide some of the best racing we've seen. That's for sure in this car.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Lime Rock in many cars, but last night we had a bit of fun there, Corey. It was a bit of an interesting. Well, I don't know what you call it last night. I guess you call it a training session. Yeah, demo derby. Well, that was what it ended in. I think we played hide and seek and demo derby at Lime Rock, which a few viewers might remember. We actually ran V8 Super Chaos there a few seasons ago, which was, well, chaos. It was a rather interesting event. So
waiting for final qualifying session. They're just having a few dramas. I tell you what, you changed the time and it all goes to hell here at the moment.
Yes, it feels like we're way too early. The Queenslanders wouldn't even know what we're talking about. It's the same time for them as it has been for the last 12 months or 6 months anyway. So it's a bit different for us. Like we're just waiting for everything.
Yeah, I think the timing is just throwing everyone off. It's like Iracing's having a few dramas at the moment, trying to connect to servers as well. So there we go. It's come up for me now too. So
start getting pictures through very, very shortly, so it won't be too far away before we start actually getting to watch this final qualifying session, although the drivers haven't actually joined yet either, so yeah, 20 minutes will actually be a little bit less due to this issue, but we'll get you pictures as soon as we can. Of course, the track at Sonoma, we did race here last season. We raced on the NASCAR Cup circuit, but a little bit longer this season around, so we lose my favourite corner on the track, the one where you could run really wide and almost roll the car. We cut off a little bit earlier. Add a little bit in the middle, but it still has the same characteristics of a really tough track and nowhere to even get a breath around this track. It's full on for the full 20 laps.
Yeah, well, even the short layout was pretty into it, but the first few laps I did around this place, actually this week, I completely missed the turn off to the right, but it's interesting because it does add a couple of passing opportunities. I know Richard touched on it in the hot lap earlier on. We've got we got a fast stop right-hander leading into a big long hairpin followed by a double right-hander. So there's a couple of passing opportunities in there, and you probably get the biggest break actually on the drag strip as they come out of the hairpin. So probably about the only 5 seconds these guys can actually have a rest around this joint.
Unless you're in a tight battle with someone, then you get no rest at all trying to set up a pass or a block. That leading up to the only real passing opportunity at the track, other than the hairpin that you always had. It looks like they've actually added time to the qualifying session, so session's only just begun.
Yeah, so just gotten in now. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out if drivers are going to be leaving early for the race, because it appears that Iracing had a few dramas trying to connect there, and the drivers are now heading into the final qualifying session.
Actually going to be a very busy racetrack. We've got 19 drivers out on track for this qualifying session, so can confirm Josh Muggleton is out on track. John Emerson, Richard Hampstead, Matthew Hill, Rob Hartley, Mitchell McLeod, Madison Down, all here, but one name that I can't see. No, I can see. Justin Ruggier is there as well. So Justin currently on pole. He's just starting his flying lap, so we might dig with him, and we'll go on board and watch a lap.
I'll quickly say, coming there through turn 1 is an absolutely fantastic corner in this car.
This next section of corners is really tough too. You've got a blind apex over this part here. Really have to hope that you point the car in the right direction. Now we're going on to the new section of track which we haven't run before. Half throttle through this part, and then you can plan it a little bit before you're under brakes.
Look at the bumps as the car bounces around down the hill.
3 or 4 different lines you can take through that corner there as well. Here's the only rest on the track, big slide down the drag strip into a real strange hairpin. You can double apex and cut it in really fine, or you can run a little bit wider. For some drivers is quicker and some drivers is slower. So now we're back onto the original track, the Cup circuit now. Laps look pretty good so far.
Yeah, bit of a slide coming into the drag strip. Other than that, it's looked alright as he gets squirmy there.
Using all the track plus more.
Brakes hard now for the final hairpin. There's a lot of road there, as Richard touched on. A little bit sideways in the lower gears. Currently on the pole by about 2/10 at the moment, Justin. So he's done a good enough job at the moment, but would like to go a little bit faster.
I think he just has. 1 minute 33.065.
That'd be mighty close to his previous best. Bringing up the previous qualifying, he was actually about 3/100ths of a second slower. Justin Ruggier that time by.
Apologies, guys. Always good when the phone rings.
So trying to find a driver on a hot lap now. Looks like they're all out there for the moment. Matthew Hill to the line of 34.201. He doesn't improve his time so far in the session.
He's put in a lot of effort this week, Hilly, but he doesn't seem to be able to match the pace of the guys that he's battling with.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's a hard track. It's not one you can jump in and be fast at. I don't think it's very challenging, and you know, he's put in the effort, but he's still around the same guys like the Michael Fabian kind of area that he normally is week in, week out. But the gap from the front to the front to probably 10th odd position this week is a little bit bigger than we're used to seeing.
We're still trying to get Josh Burton in for a chat. He's still having issues with his computer, so fingers crossed we'll get him in for a chat straight after qualifying, but before the race. We'll try and ask as many questions as we can that have come through on our Facebook page and on the V8's Supercar fan group Facebook page as well.
Looking, it's a very slow racetrack out there at the moment. I believe Matthew Nethercott's on a hot lap at the moment though.
Unusual seeing Matthew different livery. I actually didn't realise it was him there. Used to seeing him in a Red Bull livery. That switched allegiance.
Gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of this livery in real life, but he's done an absolutely fantastic job to get this thing looking this good in the sim.
Yeah, one of the best painters we have in the entire series, I think. Does a really, really good job for his liveries.
Gonna come up to a bit of traffic here though. Let's watch out for this. Shades of Simmons Plains. Everyone tries to, you know, find a bit of space. You've got Rob Hartley there on the racing line. In the on the final lap, he's got James McKnight in front of him, and there you go, laps over. It's unfortunate. It's hard, you know. You're out there on your hot lap, and these guys are trying to get their clear lap, and it all just becomes a bit of a mess here at that final hairpin as everyone slows right up.
Got a Rob Hartley. Don't believe he's actually posted a qualifying time yet this week.
Yeah, he has. He's currently, I think,
P20.
Yeah, so he's down a little bit further than he normally is.
Aborted his lap. Got a Hammer making his return from a few weeks off. Currently P4, 1 minute 33.3.
Yeah, doing a good job out there at the moment. Defending champion, hasn't been in this car for a couple of weeks now, so obviously been a little bit busy with real life stuff, so good to see him back. Look now. On track, looks like Richard Hampstead has got Ruggy up ahead of him. Gets out of the way nicely though.
This lap's looked pretty good from Hampstead. The hard thing is, this lap, even though it's fast, it looks kind of slow because there's so much 50-60% throttle used around this track.
Yeah, no, there are a couple of places there where, like through the S's, this car just seems to really chug-a-lug through them, but it is quite hard, and you are doing it at quite a bit of speed. As he comes to the line, it has looked like a good lap at the moment. He's trying to beat a 133.304, so as he comes to the line, actually just off.
100th away. Hearing a few rumours about where Sandman is tonight, Corey. Hearing rumours that the V8 Supercar fan group team might be changing allegiance next season, and that Sandman could be running in a bit of blue and red and black next season.
That's an interesting one. I have to maybe try to see if we get a word with Lazy Man Racing or Madison Down. See what they know about this at the moment.
Just hearing some rumblings through. We're hearing a few rumblings of a few guys that are switching allegiance next season. So we might actually see a bit of a mixed up season next season. A few guys moving teams, which is what we've sort of hoped for a little while. Got a little bit stagnant with guys and where they were positioned. So who knows what's happening next season.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. You know, it's nice to have a little bit of a silly season. I understand why the guys, you know, they get into a team and they like the environment, they want to stay, and everyone can understand that. But it's always nice to, you know, from time to time have one of the big names, like look at Richard Hampstead, for example. Went from direct clutch services, mixed it up, and then joined TTL. It's always creates a little bit of interesting news throughout week 13.
Yeah, Mitchell McLeod leaving Infinity Esports to go to TTR with Tats, taking his Tat sponsorship with him. And Renz Brookman coming across to XSG, now Dynamic Sim Sports. They're probably the three biggest moves I can think of in our time.
Speaking of Renz, I know he's currently in a qualifying session, the European session, so if he's racing tonight, he'll be hoping for not another repeat of what happened last week where he got put into a European server.
I also think you'll be trying for a bit of redemption on what happened here last season between he and Mitchell McLeod.
Yeah, there was a bit of carnage in the first opening couple of corners last season. Yep. I remember I was unfortunate enough to get crunched up into that.
Been a good lap from Hill.
He'll be he knows he can do a 33 here, so if he gets, be cheering if he can do it. Comes to line 34.052 for Matthew Hill.
That does improve his time, won't improve his position, so he'll stay in P10.
Richard McLeod, one of your good mates actually, Jay. Good to see him back out there, and looks like he's maybe got that motivation back, and I've noticed he's been practicing this week and really enjoying it again.
Yeah, spent a bit of time with Mitch on Saturday at my little fella's birthday. Mitch would come over and was coming, or stay for half an hour, and was the last person to leave, so an interesting afternoon. But, no, good to see Mitch has got the fire in the belly again. Lost a little bit of motivation to race, and I think the Race to Reality event he won a couple of weeks ago actually has sparked something. Yeah, he's been practicing quite a lot this week and was fastest driver for quite a lot of this week. Ron Kelly has a bit of a moment. Then Justin just starting a hot lap.
Really looks like he's got that car riding nicely through up the hill at turn 1 and 2 there.
Justin's quite motivated at the moment. We asked him to come on and do our hot lap tonight, and he was wanting to find even more pace, even though he's got pole by.
That'll auto quits actually, will he?
Yep.
Yes. Round he goes.
That's one way to end your lap. Yeah, a lot of motivation from Justin tonight. He was going to come. Well, we asked him to come in for our hot lap, but he wanted to find more time, even though he's got pole by 2/10. So that's dedication.
Actually, there's one guy I want to touch on real quick in the V8 Supercars, relatively unknown, Thomas Aram. He's I spoke about him a few weeks ago. He's a guy that I've spoken to in the past, and I know he's a big sports car fan, and you know he's done some good things rather in the Ford GT and that in the past. And I'll tell you what, for a guy that has never driven this car, he's doing some very good times out there at the moment with a 34.7 in this session. He's not that far off the some seasoned campaigners like Matthew Hill, for example. He's less than a second, and that's in my opinion a really good job.
It's definitely not an easy car to master, but once you've sort of mastered it, the racing in this series is probably some of the best we have. Trying to master the car to get to that point as Muggo crosses the line with a 33.3. That's an improvement for Muggo. It puts him 1/1000th behind Vale Riches. So he moves up to 6th. Now, straight after this qualifying session ends, we will not be taking a break. We'll actually have Josh Burden in for a chat. So, stick around. We won't have a break tonight. Lucky it's a sprint round, Corey.
Yeah, it's only a short one here, 20 laps, but it's going to be good actually to catch up with Josh. I spoke to him briefly last year, and I know he's pretty excited about what he had on the horizon, and he's been doing some good things overseas, so it'd be good to catch up with him and sort of, you know, see what his thoughts are and where he thinks he's headed. But he's actually had some pretty good results previously over in Europe.
He actually had some good results when he used to hang around on TeamSpeak with us and drive around with us knuckleheads for a little while too, Corey.
Yeah, he's dabbled here and there in the sim racing side as well, so he's got a lot of talent, that guy, and I think he's got a big future wherever he decides to go, rather, with his racing.
So 4.5 minutes left in this session now. Muggleton probably the only mover and shaker in this session. Gaining a position of 1/1000th away from the next position. Nice look for the V8 Supercar fan group cars with the V8 Online all over the car.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've liked what these guys have done since they've come into the series, and it's, you know, they've mixed it up a little bit here and there with a few, as Sean Kelly does some burnouts out there in the car park.
Wants to make sure those tyres are no good to be used again. John Emerson.
I like what they've done. You know, they've mixed it up a little bit, and sort of like the Pepsi Max guys did with Murphy. I mean, nothing major, but it's always good to see a few changes and a few promotional events, I guess, on the car throughout the season.
Big thanks to V8 Supercar fan group for helping us here at V8 Online. This lap from Emerson's looked fairly good. No time posted though. Justin Ruggie is actually the first driver to go in the 1:32s. Madison down now 3/10 away from pole, starting his flying lap.
Yeah, I'm just watching him out there now. He's going to want to be that time adjusted will probably motivate Madison to get that a little bit faster, because he's just off Justin at the moment this week, about a 10th or 2, so probably a little bit further behind than he'd like to be.
Hearing that Justin's gone a lot faster in practice, so he's still got more time left in the car. That was a nice little drift there from Madison. The fairly committed piece of track there. Oh, sideways.
Yeah, you can tell he's pushing. He's only got a couple minutes to do this now, so if it's no good, he'd want to probably park it and have another go. Must be half decent, because yeah, these guys know it beforehand. Coming out through one of the funnest parts of the circuit here, I think. You got to smash the curbs and just ride the car all around the track. Really rag it through here. He's sideways again on the exit there over the crest.
This is a committed lap.
This corner, look at this, he'll brake deep. He'll hit the curb on the inside. You want to pick up the throttle, but you don't want to drop the wheel off in the dirt. Good job there by Madison. Probably the most controlled part of the lap, that bit there. As he's sideways under brakes into the hairpin. He's absolutely on it at the moment. Wheel spin again out of the hairpin.
Is it enough? Almost hits the wall. That won't count.
I actually think he might have tapped that wall.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, yeah, he has. I think he's just tapped the wall across the start-finish line. Can you believe it? That lap was looking so fast. He's actually pushing on for another one. He doesn't have time to go back and go again. He's actually sideways, so that'll be lap done. Can you believe it, though? That lap was looking really fast.
So unlucky there. Driver on screen that's probably found a bit of pace, and someone we haven't talked a lot about in the past, James McKnight, doing a very, very good job at the moment. Yeah, it was very, very close to Matthew Hill in the last race, in the early race tonight, so we expect to see McKnight right up near the front. It's been a little while since we've seen him up there.
This actually had a car flip. I think it was Richard Hampson actually just done a nice little roll there on his outlap. If we can get our director to get a bit of replay. That one was a bit of a weird one there for Richard Hampstead.
How did you do that?
He's going about 60 k's an hour. Looking at the replay, he's going about 50 k's an hour around the corner, clips the curve, and around he goes.
It's like he's in the circus doing a bit of stunt driving or something. That's wow.
That should be one of the slowest rollovers you'll ever see.
Sorry guys, we're not going to be able to bring you that. That was rather interesting. But it looks like the session might be pretty much done. Checkered flag is now out.
Muggleton's still out there on a lap though. He's only got one car ahead of him. It's Thomas Aram, Josh Muggleton, Carl May. Aram pulls into the pit lane, so it's all Muggo now. Can he improve his time? I think he's locked the brakes into the hairpin. He's actually half spun it, so that'll be lap over. Yeah, he's just lighting up those rears now. I was about to say he's a little bit further down than he probably wants to be at the moment.
Yeah, long way back from where he'd be happy. May, last driver, finish a flying lap. 35.7. That's qualifying done. Stick around, guys. We won't be taking a break after this before the race. We'll have Josh Burton in just a moment, not far away from having him come in. Just quickly go through the results of that qualifying session, though. Justin Ruggier does improve his time. Amazing time. 1 minute 32.9. Then Richard Hampstead next with a 33.24. Puts him 100th behind his teammate John Emerson for the week. Josh Muggleton also improved his time, a 33.1. Sorry, 33.31. I think we might have Josh in with us. G'day, Josh, you there?
Yeah, boys, how you going? You got me okay?
Got you fine, mate. A long time no chat.
It has been a while. You've been too busy for me these days.
That's it, mate. That's it. You're off flying all around the countryside, and we're still here just talking like idiots. So good to see you having some success, mate.
Yeah, it's been good. It's only the first round of the season though, first blood. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I like coming back to Australia though, back home where you can talk to everyone and speak the language properly.
That was the next question I was going to ask you. How is the language barrier? How are you finding that?
It's probably one of the worst things about it all. I thought a lot more people over there would have spoke English. But in my team, for example, there's 28 people on the team and 3 people speak English. And when I mean speak English, it's kind of only half. So it certainly makes things difficult every now and then. But I think it's just one of those things you got to do the best of what you got. It's a good life experience anyway.
Well, you're definitely making the most of it, picking up a couple of wins.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. From basically first lap of practice, I knew we was going to be in for a good weekend. We got a new team this year, so lots of new faces. So first practice, second practice, everyone was kind of gelling together, and yeah, after that, it all kind of went to plan.
Now, we've got some viewer questions that we might ask you if you're happy to do that, Josh.
Yes, mate, go for it.
Yeah, one question we've had from Jeremiah. Where did you start your racing career and how old were you when you first raced?
Jeremiah, like a lot of people, I'm sure on this online series as well, that race go-karts. I started racing karts when I was 7 years old, here locally in my hometown in Tasmania, and kind of got a little bit more serious and raced karts over Australia and got a few wins and just progressively moved on. Got a CAMS Aussie Young Gun scholarship when I was 16 and kind of went and raced one thing and then opened one door and another 10 opened. So all started from go-karts.
Yeah, I also had Ben post on the V8 Supercar fan group page wanting to know what made you race outside of Australia and not stay inside Australia for something like V8 Supercars.
I'm not really sure. At the end of last year, I had a few options on the table and I had a look and kind of weighed everything up, and I'm lucky, well, sorry, I'm not lucky to come from a family that has lots of financial assistance. So I had a look at it and I thought, I've been here in Australia, I've seen how it all works, and I want to see what else is out there in the world, and I'm lucky I did do that, you know. What I think you get so consumed into a 5 cent piece of what is out there in the world, you know, all your little boundaries there, but out there's a whole new other land that needs discovering. So I thought it would be a bit of a life experience along the way, and one thing led to another, and my whole overseas gig came about just from one lazy old text message. So from one thing, you think nothing of, a whole thing can steam off on it and snowball and just get bigger. So I think it's more just me wanting to see what else is out there and experience the world.
I think before you went over to start the Euro NASCARs last year, I think a couple of weeks before you were racing a ute at Simmons Plains, am I right?
Yeah, I did 2 rounds early last year in Clipsal and at Simmons Plains with the Cedars racing team boys. One of their drivers got sick, and then another one ran out of financial assistance, I think it was, and it just so happened, being my local round, it seemed to fit, and they needed someone to fill the car so they don't cop a fine from the category. So right place at the right time. But yeah, it's certainly kept me sharp and ready to go over.
Got another couple of questions. One from Daniel. What's your ultimate goal for your career?
I don't know, Daniel. In Australia, I think everyone as a kid strives for either Formula One or V8 Supercars, and I always wanted to race V8 Supercars. But like I said before, when I kind of ventured out of the Australian circle and realised there's a lot more out there that's undiscovered, my goals sort of keep moving. I like to go on yearly goals. This year, I want to win the European NASCAR Championship. I think we can do it if everything holds together, and see what happens for next year. The team I'm aligned with at the moment is sponsored by Microsoft and Xbox, and we've got a deal on the side with Richard Childress Racing, the Spring Cup team in the USA. So ultimately, at the moment, win the championship this year and then have a look over there and see what options could come up. But really, at the moment, no real one absolute clear goal. Just walk through every door and see where I end up.
Good question from Miles, which I think a lot of people are wondering. What's the main difference between American NASCAR and European NASCAR?
There are a lot of people in Australia hadn't heard of European NASCAR, and to be honest, I didn't either. It's a new category that started up 3 years ago. I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys actually do know. NASCAR has been viewed a lot more in Australia lately on 1HD and Speed TV, and it's the same over in the UK. And there was a bit of a demand for the series over there. It got quite a few fans, so they started up the category. Basically, we don't race around ovals. We race around all normal circuits, apart from the one special event where they closed down a car park in the middle of Paris and built a temporary oval, which I saw some footage from last year, and we go there this year, which will be pretty sweet. But because we're on circuits, we don't have the normal 800 horsepower V8 engines. We have Chev V8s that are about 450 horsepower. They're 1150 kilos and a really good Michelin slick tyre. Same gearbox, 4-speed dog box, so flat shifting, always fun. Fiberglass bodies, so everything else is basically the same.
Yeah, we're here obviously commentating a sim racing series. You're a bit of a sim racer yourself. We see you online every now and again. What's your main, well, I suppose your sim of choice now would have to be Forza.
It is, yeah. I think I've got to say Forza. I was actually playing that on the Xbox sim the teams got the other week, but yeah, I like to get on iRacing and R Factor as well. I don't know, sometimes I get lazy and I've got other things I should be doing, and I think priorities are going to take over a little bit sometimes. But yeah, no, I love it. Being honest, I'm not the best sim racer. I suck at it, especially in a V8 Supercar. I work it out. I'm back home for 3 weeks now, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be online a lot more.
I've probably got one more question before we go. Pre-race, to get in the zone, mentally and physically, what do you do? And do you have any pre-race superstitions?
Pre-race superstitions, left glove always on first for me. I don't know why, it's ridiculous. It's just something I've always done since I was a little kid. I don't even know what started it. It was probably my father, but I don't know. I personally always left glove on first. It's funny, that question gets asked. I was only telling a few people in the past couple of days. There's 11 different nationalities racing in the championship I'm in, so it's actually funny to have a look around, so many different nationalities jammed into one place. Each individual person has their own belief in the way they think things should happen. And what happens is when you get a lot of people with different beliefs and different ideas on things and chuck them all into one race, the races over there are completely crazy. You get French people who are often quite dirty drivers. You've got Indian drivers who aren't the fastest sort of drivers, but they're smooth drivers. It's strange. A lot of people I see making the sign of the cross and giving their girlfriend or wife one last kiss goodbye before they get in the car. But I'm not sure. I think my thing is I like to have 15 minutes to myself before I get in the car. Just burst some music as loud as you can in your ear, get you going and just block everything out and just talk yourself into things and try and visualize, I think the word is. And just, that's about it, to be honest. Yeah, visualising, listen to some music, pump yourself up.
Nice. Thanks heaps for coming in, Josh. We're about to go racing, so thanks heaps for coming in. If you're still around in a couple of weeks' time, we might have a special event coming up, so we might see if we can get you in the driver's seat in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah,
that'd be cool. It'd be funny to see me round up the field in a simulator. So no, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, doing stuff like this. It's good fun.
No worries, thanks, mate. And don't be a stranger, and all the best for the rest of the season.
No, thank you very much. See you later.
Yeah, mate. It was good to hear a few of the things that Josh had to say there, Jay, about some of his pre-race things. It always seems to be a glove or a boot thing first every time you ask that question to any of the real drivers.
Yep, always. I think I've spoken to a few guys in the past that it always seems to be the left. What is it with the left side first?
They're probably all right-handers too.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. You pick it up with your right hand to put the left one on first. I don't know. Almost time to go racing for round 10 of the official online series. I think a little bit of chaos actually happening on track between teammates before the race has even begun, between Hampstead and Emerson, who will start side by side in 3rd and 4th position. We'll quickly go through the grid. Ruggier from Down, Emerson, Hampstead, Riches, Muggleton, McLeod, Brookman, Cully, Hill, then Ortridge, Fabian, Nethercott, McKnight, McMullen, Hartley, Latham, Hunter, Aram, Atkins, May, Ryan, Barron and Doohan. The 24 drivers who'll take the grid for round 10 at Sonoma.
Yeah, good grid here tonight. I think it's going to be interesting watching almost a full field scream up into turn 1 rather. We saw some of the chaos here last season with everyone crunching into each other. They get so compact and so close. It's going to be interesting. And a few teammates in there together actually on the qualifying list. We've got TTL in 3, 4, 5, and then we've got TTR in 6 and 7. So, and then you've got Dynamic Sim Sports, Renz Brookman, Matthew Hill. Hill is in P10, Renz in P8, so they're starting behind each other. So a bit of teamwork here going into the first turn. Hopefully no one runs into each other, because that's going to be a very awkward sort of conversation on TeamSpeak later.
There's always people crashing into each other. It's Hampstead. That's a big moment for me.
Just finished warm up there in
that's
fashion.
the way to do it.
I guess he finished the qualifying session upside down, so he's going for style points out here tonight.
Big thank you once again to V8 Supercar Fan Group, Direct Clutch Services, and coming soon, V8's online superstore. Not far away.
So as we wait for the grid at Jay, who's your pick for tonight? If you had to put money on any one driver, who would it be?
Oh, it'd have to be Justin. There's no questions about it, no doubts about it. He's 0.3 quicker in qualifying. It's not much of a competition tonight, but strange things happen at Sonoma.
I'll go against you on that one, I think, mate. I'll go with Madison. He looked motivated. He looked on it in that qualifying session. If he didn't hit the wall, I just wonder what that time could have been. So you take Justin, I'll take Madison in this one.
Knowing how good our betting is, and neither of them are right, so sorry, guys.
Yeah, Brad Ryan back there in P22 for getting up winning the race. As the revs now rising for the start of the race here at Sonoma, waiting for the green flag. Off and racing. Looks like majority of the field have gotten away nicely here. It's going to get interesting up to the kink.
McLeod didn't get a very good start there. A lot of wheel spin.
Waiting to see, can everyone get through the kink and go up into turn 1. The 3 wide back in the pack. It's absolute chaos. Looking a lot better than it was here last season.
Thomas Aram off the track there in turn 2. But clinching here. This is where chaos always happens.
This is where we had it last season, but this is where it's been in the early races. Looks like they've all sort of early.
Not sure which of the TTL brothers.
Robert Hartley got shoved out wide there by John Latham, I think it was. Brad Ryan making it 3 wide. A little bit cleaner though still than what we've used to in the past here.
McLeod's lost a couple of spots. He's dropped behind Brookman. Sean Kelly also losing a bit of ground.
Looks like Fabian on the inside there. Couldn't get the power down out of the hairpin.
Muggleton looking to make a move on Vale Riches. Said before, there's a lot of different lines through that hairpin. It's a double apex where you can go really wide.
It's actually been a rather calm first lap for a race at Sonoma, Jay.
Yeah, now Madison, look how much of a gap he's already pulled. And
that was John Emerson drives into Ruggy's door into the hairpin.
it hammers around. Muggleton, little tap.
Hammer got going again. He's looking back in the pack. I can't.
Ruggy and Emerson come together again. This is one angry pack.
So was,
one lap down, 19 to go.
Who was it that went around? Was that Vale actually, I believe? Was it Vale that went around?
Yeah, Vale, it must have been.
I thought it was Richard, but it was actually it was John and Ruggy made contact. Hammer went straight through and Vale went around. So
McLeod and Riches side by side through the flip flop. Hill runs wide and now has Cali right on his tail.
And I was just saying how clean
there too.
Saying how clean that first lap was as well. Down, he's driving me. Sorry, Jay.
I was just about to say, sounds like Hilly's having a couple of computer issues. His game's actually freezing, so he's screaming.
Richard there to Justin Ruggy, and Justin gives you a big push into the hairpin. Oh, Richard turns into him there, but on the exit. These boys are playing for keeps here on lap 2.
Remember we said before the championship separated by 9 points? I think someone wants to win it. About 3 or 4 guys want to win this championship.
And it's all working out for Madison Down, though. This is the kind of stuff Justin doesn't need to get involved in at the moment. And one thing for Richard, he doesn't have that in the back of his mind. He can't win this championship. He's out of it. And he put a big force move. Look at Richard now having a big look up his side and Justin into the hairpin. He's going to hit him. He's driven into his door. What is going on? John Emerson almost around there with contact with Josh Muggleton.
This is strange. I don't know what's going on in this race.
This is all actually a little bit silly here from...
Brookman into Muggleton. Muggleton's got damage.
This is all kind of silly, to be honest, to go down a few laps. I mean, it's 20 laps to the sprint, but these boys are trying to put themselves out of the race. And Madison Down, he's out to a almost 3.5 second lead. I don't know what's going on with Justin and Richard, but these two keep seeming to hit each other.
This is... wow.
Meanwhile, Vale is back in. He just lost a spot to Mitchell McLeod, so this is absolutely going off. I think we need more of these sprint races.
Sam Man's upset that there's no pit stop, so that's why he isn't here tonight. But I think we're bringing him all the action.
So it's going to be interesting now as we look back at Michael Fabian and Sean Kelly close into the double right hander. I'm just going to say, interesting to see though what that was all about there with Richard and Justin. It looked like they were just sort of banging doors on each other, and well, I said it's all worked out well for Madison Down though. He's going to have about a 4-second lead come next time to the line. Here reports that Josh Muggleton has got big damage to that car. Here comes Mitchell McLeod. Interesting here, it could be, Muggleton can win this championship, Mitchell can't.
Here comes Hill on Fabian.
Side by side. Looks like Hilly got sideways there.
This doesn't work.
Oh, he's running wide. That's
he gets the move done.
The weeds.
And Fabian always comes back into Ortridge.
Just looking at Justin Ruggy, he doesn't seem to be in a rhythm at the moment. Maybe a little bit taken up. He's actually run very wide. Here comes John Emerson. Actually, he's got a lot of damage to Justin's car. He got hit on the door quite hard by John and Richard there on lap 1 and 2. I wonder if he's having trouble steering because he doesn't seem to be able to find a rhythm at the moment.
This, I don't know what to say about this race, Corey. I'm actually lost for words. For the first time in 12 months, I'm lost for words.
It's calmed down a little bit at the moment, but those opening laps, I think they're just plain silly, to be honest. I mean, a bit of bump, push and shove is good, but these boys are trying to put themselves out of the race early on. I wonder if this championship, the pressure's on. There's 3 guys who can win it. There's only about 8 or 9 points.
Justin running wide and Muggleton and McLeod. We have Riches right behind as well as Riches closes right up in on McLeod. And Kelly's now getting involved in the back of this pack.
Meanwhile, up front, Madison Down has got a 4.5 second lead. Matthew Hill goes wide there, top of turn 2. Under attack, he's under attack now by Michael Fabian rather. These two have battled quite well throughout the season. They're currently in P10 and 11, so it actually looks like Josh Muggleton has been passed by Mitchell McLeod. Was there contact at all? It's a little bit awkward.
Oh, Rich is looking like he's wanting to get involved now too.
Like Mitchell went up the inside, no contact was made.
No contact.
Vale's got
nice
wide
pass.
here.
And look at how close Sean Kelly's become to this pack now. Kelly looking to get a move done very, very soon as Muggleton. Big sideways moment coming onto the drag strip.
Michael Fabian, he's ducking, he's weaving behind Matthew Hill at the moment. They're in this battle as well. Everyone's trying to find a way past. It's so close here at the moment.
This is 7th is Muggleton. He'll go right back to Brad Ryan, James McKnight, and even Matthew Nethercott in this battle. 14th, 15th and 16th. We've got 10 cars in a battle pack.
It's chaos waiting to happen out there at the moment, I think. Looking at John Emerson closing in up the front again real quick on Justin Ruggio. Renz Brookman is just behind him. But look at this guy, Vale. He's about to almost drive into the back of Muggleton there. A little bit of contact in the mid-corner is there. Oh, this is chaos waiting to happen right here at the moment. Vale taps the brakes. He's going to slot him back behind. It's hard to pass out that wide.
Oh, bit of a tap. Bit of a nudge.
Inside. And we'll get through that one too. This is absolute chaos here tonight.
5 laps down, 15 to go.
So we have, who we got? We got Josh Muggleton in P7, Vale Richards P8, Sean Kelly, Matthew Hill, Michael Fabian sideways, Tony Orchard and Marlon Mullen going at it now.
And Brad Ryan having internet issues as well, jumping all around the track behind these guys.
Looks like Josh has gone wide. Vale has a look. Taking the shallow line though, can't get the job done there. Has to watch out for Sean Kelly now on the exit though. Matthew Hill's closing up on these guys well, looking for a move around the outside of Sean Kelly. Has to watch out now, doesn't leave the door open for Michael Fabian. Fabian takes a shallow line. Meanwhile up front, Justin Rugged, big slide there through the SS John's over the back of him again now.
I'm just glad. I don't think. I think it's a good thing we won't have post-race interviews tonight because we could have had a punch on in the commentary box tonight.
Yeah, there's going to be a few angry drivers after this one. I'll tell you what, this is making it for some of the best racing I've seen in a while in the V8 Supercars. Almost action-packed rather. It's probably the better words for it.
Don't necessarily say best. Action-packed for sure.
It's action-packed is probably the way I need to go with that one. These boys are absolutely playing for keeps now. The championship's on the line. They can't afford to finish second. They need to win races. I think the only one that doesn't have damage on their car, Madison Down, is out to an almost 5-second lead.
I think Marty Atkins come into the pit lane.
But God,
may have
Josh
actually
Muggleton
served a stop-and-go penalty. Brad Ryan's managed to get ahead of Marlon McMullen as well now, so Marlon's dropped a couple of spots in the last 2 laps. Now it's James McKnight behind.
Fantastic drive by Brad last week. It was a real shame that he had the blue screen of death on the last lap. He was running so well on that podium position and sorry to go away. He's going to look up at the hairpin. Vale Richards up inside of Josh Buck, but he's tapped him. Oh, contact. They've all gotten away with it.
Big power slide too, coming back out.
As I was As I was saying, Brad Ryan had such a good run. He's jumped in here again this week. Second time now in about 3 or 4 weeks. We've seen it without any qualifying, so he likes to make a race interesting, that's for sure.
Now that big battle pack we were just talking about, it's actually got 2 drivers joining onto the back of it as well. So we now got a 12-car battle pack. It's Rob Hartley, Thomas Aram joining on the back.
Oh, we've got a car that was Ruggier. Sorry, I think we saw Ruggier darting across the road there.
Muggleton's around. Muggleton spun. Rich is a little bit of a tap. And Muggleton goes around.
Who was that park? That was that Vale? Yeah, Vale.
Yeah, Vale gave him a tap. So Vale stopped to let Muggleton through because I'm pretty sure he feels bad about the spin. So Rich has dropped right back and Muggleton's going to let him go.
I think Josh has some damage there. We're going to go to replay of the Vale incident with Josh. This looks like
really good sportsmanship though from Vale. He knows he made a mistake in giving Muggleton a tap.
He's just gone into the hairpin a little bit too
high. Sacrificed his own race. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to just tap the back of Muggleton. Round he goes. It's tell you what, to redress that position is fantastic there by Vale and good sportsmanship, as he said. He waited, he watched the whole field drive by and is now currently in P21. Meanwhile, Justin Ruggie in front of them was having his own moment. He dropped 2 positions as well. So John Emerson now is in P3, Brenz Brookman in P4, Mitch McLeod in 5th, Ruggier in 6th.
And that gap from first to second is now 5 seconds long.
This is all kind of spread the pack out a little bit now. Actually, still have that good battle going on.
I just noticed there, Madison Down, he actually had a bit of a moment at the hairpin, very, very sideways. So this isn't over. Madison's still having a couple of car issues. Go back to this angry pack. Brad Ryan currently P11, Tony Ortridge ahead, P10 behind P12 of Marlon McMullen.
Brad's still having some internet dramas there, blinking in and out every now and then. Good drive by Brad though. He's come up from gets a bit sideways. Coming from P22 now into P11. No qualifying, as I said, and you have to say he's a real shot for top 10 here.
Here he comes.
Orchard's got a bad run off that corner. Brad has a look up the inside. Does contact just.
One of the few spots that you can actually make a legitimate pass at this track. Ryan led Ortridge back through. Back a little bit behind these guys. Rob Hartley, Thomas Aram. You guys having a really good battle as well. Back a little bit further, Matthew Barron with Qual and May and now Vale Riches behind. No, Wizza hasn't done any practice at all really this week, so not doing too bad to actually hold his own.
No, I remember when the final qualifying session was on, I had messages on Facebook from Matthew Barron saying he's still on the train on the way home, asking Hilly to upload the setup so he can get in and race. So he's doing a good job out there at the moment. We'll just be hoping not to rotate and put in the wall, because that'll make it 3 races from 3 from Barron at the moment. Battle continues with Matthew Hill.
Yep.
Matthew Nethercott actually just behind, having a big look at James McKnight.
Race has settled a little now. We can all actually catch our breath. So this has been amazing, this race.
Yeah, those opening laps were something we haven't seen for a long time. The aggression out there was absolutely crazy. Settle down a little bit now.
Ryan on Ortridge. Oh, it's close enough. Big dive, big slide, but he's not going to get it around.
Ortridge is giving him just enough room to fit that car there. Got a millimetre more, doing a good job at the moment.
Battle for 3rd and 4th is really starting to heat up as well, with Brookman closing up behind Emerson, and McLeod starting to catch up onto the back of their tail as well.
They've got a bit of an angry pack here with James McKnight, Matthew Nethercott, Robert Hartley, Thomas Aram, and John Latham just behind, and also Richard Hunter. Those guys are still in a big train of cars at the moment. Actually, Michael Fabian, he lost the spot that he has. Tony Autry, just cut back to him there. He's lost the spot. And he's still looking like he's going slow.
Brad Ryan, alternate line into the hairpin.
Big look up the inside of the hairpin.
Oh, and
Tony
just holds it.
Autry released the wheel. They actually might get the pass done. He locked it up into the hairpin. Autry just a little bit of lock off the car there. Left him a bit of room. Smartly avoided contact. Kept the position. That was amazing. That was a very heads-up bit of driving there from Aldridge.
Here comes Ryan having a look. The inside of Fabian won't get it done though. And McMullen now right into this pack. We're halfway through the race now. This has been amazing. I don't know what else to say. Amazing at this
halfway
race.
Through already. It's gone so fast. I think it's been a long
vote for more sprint rounds, I think, Corey.
Well, we head off to Limerock next week. That's only a very short lap, so I think we're going to see a lot of action around that joint. But I'll tell you what, it has been a long time since we've seen a race like this where the front guys were playing for keeps in those opening 2 laps.
Fabian, again, using the alternate line for Ryan, but Ryan's almost close enough to crisscross.
Contact. Pushes Ryan
and
a little bit wide there.
McMullen's going to have a chance now at Ryan. Tucks back in behind though. Next week, as you said, Corey, 45 laps of Lime Rock Park. A 2 kilometre lap, so...
yeah, I was going to say, it does sound long, 45 laps, but you're talking about a lap that's going to be about 50 seconds, I reckon, in the qualifying. So it's going to be, the Simmons Plains or Wanneroo style length. Something we don't see enough in the vets.
Fabian!
Like Fabian!
Fabian's around, he's around! No, holds it!
Oh, he's actually lost it completely.
Yeah,
He has to watch out about. Does he put it in reverse? He does. Oh. One of the Net Virtue cars just missed him.
Fabian's actually, he's actually dropped out of the race, so unlucky there for Fabian. He might have had a bit of damage from something previous, but Ryan still under attack from McMullen.
Meanwhile, who's not under attack? Madison down, 5.6 second lead. Not a scratch on that car at all. He's doing an absolute stellar job out there at the moment.
Yeah, he's got it way too easy.
I think there's been more action in this the opening half of this race than we normally see each week.
Yeah, I don't think we need a highlights reel this week. Just run the whole thing and it's a highlights reel. This has been amazing.
So as far as your championship contenders go, quick update. Madison down in P1, Justin Ruggier in P6 and Joshua Muggleton in P21. So you start talking championship, and we see it in real life as well. Things start to fall apart for the drivers. It happens in real life, and it's happening in the sim racing world at the moment. Things like Josh Muggleton and Matthew Barron there.
That was a bit hectic.
You'd have to say, Jade, it's resembling real life at the moment. Like I said, you start talking championship, and it's all sort of falling apart for each of these drivers, except Madison.
Yep, Madison, a 27 million time champion. I think he knows how to do it. But interesting, we've only got 3 champions really in this field. Is Muggleton, yep, up the inside of Barron. Gets it done. Barron had a bit of a moment coming out of the fast right-hander. Car become a little bit unstable and Muggleton took advantage.
Meanwhile, further up the front, Mitchell McLeod continuing, as you touched on earlier, Jay, to close in the margin to the Renz Brookman John Emerson battle.
Yeah, that's really tightened up. Less than, or just on a second between Emerson, Brookman and McLeod. Seven and a bit laps to go. The race really has settled. It's almost calming to watch the race now.
Yeah, it's definitely settled down a lot, as you said, in the first lap. And Steve was also doing a good job at the moment. We saw the Bargy on lap 1, but Richard Hampstead, once he pushed his way past Justin Ruggier, he's been out there in second all by himself. Currently 5.6 seconds of lead and about 6 or 7 seconds ahead of his teammate Emerson, so doing a good job at the moment for not driving the car for such a long time. Yeah,
Emerson was held up a little bit by Justin when he got that damage. That's probably explains the gap between Hampstead and Emerson, but even still, Hampstead's done a pretty good job once he's got into that second position.
John Emerson
for
now.
the big moment go through turn 2.
James McKnight, I think you touched on him in qualifying, Jay. Haven't spoken much about him lately, so...
Yeah, I actually think Watkins Glen maybe was the last time we talked about him in a race. I honestly can't remember. Good to see him back out there.
He's got a good turn of speed at the moment, currently running in P12, so doing a good job.
Brad Ryan also doing a very good job. Started P22, currently P10, so not a bad effort.
Tony Autry just ahead of Brad Ryan, so hoping to move further up the pack. Val Richards trying to move his way back to the pack now, currently sitting in P18, trying to get past Matthew Nethercott and Richard Hunter.
Nethercott had a moment a few laps ago, spun at the hairpin and lost quite a few spots. That's why we see him back behind Richard Hunter.
Oh, Hunter kicks up the dirt there on the exit of the right-hander, and Val has a big look up the inside of Nethercott. Nethercott leaves him room, so smart bit of driving there by those two. Nethercott probably a little bit too easy, actually.
Hunter, big slide coming out of the corner, massive wheel spin.
Oh, Val's looking around the outside.
Oh, around the outside. That's brilliant.
That Val Richards gets 2 positions in a lap there. Their outside pass was pretty good. Oh, Tony Autry's off the road. Autry just run off the road there. Brad Ryan finally got past him. They're putting the pressure on him over the last couple laps.
Doesn't look like there was a touch.
No, I think Autry just used a bit of the curb and a little bit too much speed. Car was bouncing as it hit the ground again, so
yep.
Through goes Brad Ryan.
Very good move. Go to Matthew Hill. P8. Started in P10. Hasn't found as much pace as he would have liked this week, but I'm sure he'll be very happy with a P8, especially with the field he's got and the drivers he's got ahead of him. He'll be very happy.
Yeah, I think 8th is a good result for Hilly at the moment. Like I said, he struggled to find a bit of pace out of this car this week, so I think he's going to be happy there's a bit of carnage on those opening laps, and he's going to get a few positions.
5 laps to go up the front for Madison Down. Currently has 5.5 second lead from Richard Hampstead. It's John Emerson, Renz Brookman, Mitchell McLeod, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Closing back up close together again. Justin Ruggier in 6th, then it's Sean Kelly, Matthew Hill, Brad Ryan and Tony Autry, the top 10.
Meanwhile, we've only got a couple laps to go now as well, so lap 16 of 20. Good reports that going to say before that championship contender Josh Muggleton was out of the race, but don't need drama. Tell you what, if we can get a shot of the back end of Josh Muggleton's car, that thing is absolutely destroyed. The back left-hand side of Muggleton's car is, sorry, just it's absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, I don't think it's just the back of his car. I think it's his whole car, front and back, steering. Not going to be a cheap fix for the TTRT.
Yeah, a bit of a polar opposites this week. You know, you got your teammate out there fighting for the championship who's looking likely to win this race. 5.6 second lead. Then you got the other guy that's battling for the championship back in P19. So,
and the other guy in the team that's a former championship winner, just battling along in a nice big pack for a possible podium. He's probably the only other driver on track that hasn't been involved in anything.
Like maybe those blue cars that are in trouble here this week.
Right on cue, it looks like McLeod might have actually had an issue. He's dropped off from behind Brookman, who's now closed right up behind Emerson. 4 laps to go.
Last that was about a second side for Mitchell, so as you touched on there, Jay, Renz Brookman now closing on John Emerson. There's enough laps to get it done, so he's got to be has to be brave about it though.
Gonna have to be a pretty big move. He's not quite close enough in regards to pace, I don't think, as Emerson has a massive moment. And don't forget, on Wednesday night we will be back for Race to Reality, and on Thursday night we'll also have our Thursday night Grand Am series. Also starting new time. Yeah, massive drift from Brookman.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to sort of come away from our other broadcast, but Ren's Brookman out of the hairpin massively sideways.
Not going to leave anything on the track for sure.
As you were touched on, Jay, new time for the Grand Am as well with the daylight savings coming into play. The race reality will stay the same, I believe, but Grand Am will change.
Well, the race to reality will change for people in Queensland. It'll be an hour later for those guys, but in the real states, Victoria and New South Wales, I'm going to get in trouble for that.
John Emerson.
Will be the normal time, and Grand Am will be an hour earlier in in New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia, and New Zealand. 3 laps to go. Brookman got enough left in the car to catch Emerson.
Interesting there to watch the different lines up into turn 1 and 2. So Ren's might have made a mistake. Lost a bit of time to John Emerson at the moment. Mitchell McLeod slowly just catching up to the back of him. He's running out of laps to get the job done though.
Matthew Hill's now being caught by Brad Ryan, who's up to P9. He's trying to push for P8, and that'd be 14 position gain. Third question, how many did Van Gisbergen do last week? I think he started 21st and finished 8th. That'd be 13. So Brad Ryan equalled that at the moment.
Cody Aldridge and Marlon McMullen back in the pack, continuing their battle. Tony's just fallen off the back of Brad Ryan and Matthew Hill now.
McMullen nice and close in behind Aldridge here. McKnight also getting into this battle.
Yeah, they're going to have another 2 laps to get the job done if you're behind someone now. It's amazing how fast this race has gone.
The other guys might be hoping there's another race on after this, considering how early we're going to finish and how much chaos there's been.
Yeah, for those that have done, for those that didn't do yesterday's races, they're probably, I think the next race could actually be a bit of a high points paying race if some of these guys get in there.
I think we might see the likes of Justin and maybe Hampstead in there to have another go. Muggleton's dropped back a couple of spots. He's back behind Carlin May and Matthew Barron. He's actually giving Barron a little bit of a... Races Barron almost off the track. I don't know how he held on to that.
That was
almost
very
a touch.
close there.
And there goes May.
Sorry,
straight ahead.
Carwin May, where is he gone?
Just went straight ahead, and he hit that wall very hard.
He did. He's going to replay now. What's happened? He's come out of turn 2. The car. On the upshift, you listen to it, the upshift, he's just gotten wheel spin, cranked sideways, and just head on into the fence. And he's got big damage to the front of that ANZ Falcon.
I actually think he might have an issue with his pedals because he just bounced off the wall, and it was as if the throttle was half open after that too. So might be some sort of issue there. Not sure. Unlucky for Mays. Madison Down just gets the white flag. Final lap of the race. It's been rather interesting, but he hasn't seen any of it.
Yeah, I was about to say, you'd almost forget that Madison was even in this one. He's that far up the road. We haven't really spoken about him other than the updates on the gaps. And Richard in P2. The battle for P3 still well and truly on. John Emerson and Renz Brookman going at it. Mitchell McLeod's just fallen off the back of them again. He seems to catch up and then fall off again. John, he's a lot of curving. He's got a slow run.
Oh, here goes Brookman.
Renz has to have a big dive up his side. He has a look. Doesn't actually go for the move.
Oh, Emerson runs wide.
That was a little bit polite there by Renz. He had a big look. Like John just caught a little bit too much curb over the through the S's. Got Madison down now. He's done a fantastic job tonight. The Tats.com Falcon. He got the jump at the start. Probably helped him because he could have been part of that boxing match on those opening laps. He's done a good job though. Stayed out of trouble. Got not even a scratch on that car. Got 2 corners to run now, and I'll tell you what, Jay, it's probably one of his best drives, you have to say.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive tonight. Managed to stay out of trouble at the start and just go from there. So, good
bags
job.
It up off the hairpin. So just his bags up the hairpin, wheel spin. Doesn't get sideways. He takes checker flag. Madison down wins at Sonoma. Fantastic drive. Richard Hampstead will come home for second behind. His car's a bit bent up from the earlier race contact. Battle for third. John Emerson will hold on just from Renz Brookman. Fantastic battle between these three here tonight as well.
Yeah, McLeod will come home in fifth. Justin unlucky tonight. He'll be rather upset and unhappy tonight. Manages to get home in sixth position. John Kelly will cross the line in seventh with a big moment. Hill will hold on to eighth. Brad Ryan gaining 13 positions to finish in ninth. Tony Autridge will finish 10th. Oh, McMullen in 11th. Flips the wall. McKnight and Hartley. Vale Richards next.
Hartley just gave the Powerbomb Falcon a bit of a wheel alignment across the line.
And John Latham unlucky. He actually has lost a couple of positions. Had a spin at the final hairpin. Drops from 15th back to 18th. And he's just decided to launch and get it stuck in the fence. So good work from John Latham.
So that is everyone now, I believe, but we're still waiting on someone.
Yeah, I think that's it. Cohen May, the last driver to cross the line. Marty Atkins also coming around the final corner.
Cohen May with the damage and maybe a throttle issue as Jay touched on. Comes home with a completely stuffed front end of the ANZ Falcon in P21. Marty Atkins 1 lap down in P22, the last of the finishes. Only 2 DNFs tonight actually, Jay, which is a little bit surprising after some of the carnage we saw early on.
So Madison Down does his victory burnout. It's a track that you can actually do some nice burnouts, a nice big car park to do it in. We'll quickly run through the results. Madison Down picks up the win. Richard Hampstead in second. John Emerson third. Renz Brookman fourth. Mitchell McLeod fifth. Justin Ruggier sixth. Sean Kelly, Matthew Hill, Brad Ryan, Tony Autridge round out the 10. Then Marlon McMullen, James McKnight, Rob Hartley, Vale Riches, Thomas Aram, Matthew Nethercote, Richard Hunter, John Latham, Matthew Barron, Josh Muggleton, Carwin May, Marty Atkins, Michael Fabian and Jack Doohan. A race that we'll definitely be talking about for weeks to come, Corey.
I think this is a race we're going to be talking about at Suzuka when we find out who's the official champion. I'll tell you what, for Justin Ruggier and Josh Muggleton, it was an absolute nightmare. Madison Down just drove away from the field. I'll tell you what, the most interesting thing is we've done this all by 9 o'clock, Jay.
Yeah,
nice and early.
It's a bit of teammate love there. Yeah, very early finish. I don't know what to do now. I'm a bit lost. It's normally 11 o'clock before we get to bed. I'm sure a few drivers will be off to go and practice at Lime Rock straight away for next week. 45 laps of Lime Rock, which is a track we held at an event called Super Chaos at a few seasons ago. Now, chaos I think was an understatement for what we saw at Lime Rock Park, and it'll be no doubt what we see next week with this championship heating right up.
We head off to Lime Rock next week, and unfortunately we don't have the post-race interviews tonight. I've had a few technical dramas with the team speak, and we've actually had to I think we went through 2 or 3 or 4 even before we found one that was working. So
yeah, big thanks to V8 Supercar Fan Group for letting us use their team speak tonight, so they're helping us in even more ways this week. So don't forget, Wednesday night we're back on air for Race to Reality from Road Atlanta. Then Thursday night we are live for Thursday night Australia New Zealand Grand Am from Suzuka, I believe. Is that right, Corey?
Yeah, the Grand Am goes to Suzuka next week, so get an early insight for some of the V8 drivers on what it's going to be like in a couple of weeks' time for the V8 final, obviously.
Yep, then next Monday night, live, same time again, 7:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time for v8sonline. Yeah, sorry, I said that wrong. Eastern Standard Time we're back to now. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. For V8 Online's live coverage of the V8 Supercar official online series. Series sponsors V8 Supercar Fan Group, Direct Clutch Services, and coming soon, the all-new V8 Online Superstore. Thanks once again, Corey.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. It's been an exciting one. Like you said, we'll talk about this one for a while now, and I think it's had a big impact on this season's championship, that's for sure.
Thanks, Seb, for hard work tonight. That was a bit of an interesting one, but we finally got there. Thanks heaps, mate. Thanks again to the guys at V8 Supercar Fan Group for helping us out to actually get this on tonight. Wrap it up there. Winner tonight, Sonoma, round 10. It's Madison down.